You're watching NFL Daily, and today's show is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Y'all, we got cellular plans starting at just $15 a month. We'll get into the NFL news and rumors in a second, but if you want to take advantage of this awesome deal, go to the link that you see down below, mintmobile.com/chatsports. It's the only way you're going to get $15 a month for a cellular plan. So coming up here on today's show, we're going to get into Jimmy Garoppolo destinations because the latest odds have been released, and I did a video last week about some potential destinations, and these are, well, a little bit different. Joe Burrow, what's the injury update on the Bengals starting quarterback? Should you guys be worried about him? And then Takk McKinley, could he end up going to the Dallas Cowboys? Let's first hit here with this story here around the 49ers quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. And it's no secret, the 49ers want to move on from Jimmy G. Trey Lance is the future there in San Francisco, especially because, well, Shanahan has said it, Lynch has said it, and when you give up all that draft capital to select somebody at number 3 overall, you got to be a dummy not to think that this isn't going to be Trey Lance's football team. So what I figured I would do here is break down the new odds that were just released around where Jimmy Garoppolo could potentially play. And coming in at these odds, I'll break down why it makes sense for each of the teams. The first team coming up here is the Seattle Seahawks, and they right now have the highest odds to land Garoppolo at plus 275, which pretty decent odds, I'm not going to lie to you, and it makes sense. From a quarterback standpoint, this is the roster, them and maybe the Carolina Panthers, that I can make an argument, worst quarterback room in the league. And I think if Seattle wasn't literally in the NFC West, those odds would be a lot higher. He's better than Geno Smith. He's better than Drew Lock. He's better than Jacob Eason. And the other reason why I think it would make some sense for the Seahawks to do this, you get a competitive advantage on a team that, let's face it, has been kind of beating up on you and has been one of the better teams in this division. The next team coming up here in terms of the Garoppolo odds is the Miami Dolphins. And some of you are like, well, wait a minute. Don't they have Tua Tagovailoa? Yes, but there's that connection with Mike McDaniel, who is now the new head coach down there in Miami. He's been coaching Garoppolo with the 49ers over the past few seasons. But not only do they have Tua, they also have a pretty solid backup in Teddy Bridgewater. And for those of you that play Madden, Teddy's actually ranked higher than Tua, both at a 75, but technically when you look at the attributes, Bridgewater's a little bit higher. And then Skylar Thompson is also on this roster, but again, just a little bit more of a body. At the end of the day, is Garoppolo better than both of these quarterbacks here? I'm going to sit up here and say yes. Then when you look at all the skill position players and a very competitive AFC, if I was the Dolphins, personally, I would try to make it happen. I'll show you the next team in just a second, but if you haven't already subscribed to Chat Sports, make sure you do so. Not only do we do NFL content, we do a bunch of NBA content as well. And if you're a new sub, who knows, you might see yourself on a future show. So shout out to Jake the Great, Ty 420 Henderson, 408 Wes, Jim 6167, and then Real Band Sports. If you haven't hit that sub button, guess what? We will keep you up to date, so seriously, give it a shot. All right, let's go to the next team here. It's the Houston Texans at plus 400 odds, and I think for them it really just comes down to what they think of Davis Mills, because there was 2 different Davis Mills last year. I don't know if he's got a twin brother or what, but the Mills that I saw the first half of the season was bad. He got better as the year went on, and there's not a lot of talent there in Houston. So I will give him credit for growing and kind of taking his lumps down there with the Texans and all the drama that went on, not only just around Deshaun Watson, but around that organization in general. So if you think that Mills is the future, you don't make the move. If you're still kind of up in the air about it, then hey, why not? Go ahead. See it. All right, so where's Jimmy Garoppolo going to end up playing in 2022? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. If you think it's going to be the Seahawks type SCA, the Texans HOU, Miami Dolphins MIA, or if you think it's going to be another team, just type other. I'm actually going to bet on the field here because, yes, the Seahawks have the highest odds, but I think the only way that happens is if they release him and then he ends up signing with Seattle. You don't really see trades in interdivision. Plus, I've seen some connections there with the Giants. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers make some sense in terms of overall having a plan after Tom Brady, because when Brady retired this offseason, everyone was like, oh, crap, who's going to be the quarterback in Tampa? You don't want that to happen. And even though a lot of people can point the finger and say Garoppolo has not all the greatest tools out there, he does win. Over the past few seasons, a 25-12 record, lost in the Super Bowl, sure, and then also got to the Final Four last year. I understand that there's limitations, but he is a winner at the end of the day, and, well, it's kind of what you're looking for in terms of a quarterback. Now, today's show, again, y'all, is sponsored by Mint Mobile, and if you haven't already, go to mintmobile.com/chatsports because we have awesome plans here, $15 a month, and a lot of time I get it. You're afraid to switch your network. Maybe you're with another competitor over there, and you're like, I don't know how easy it is. Luckily for you, switching to Mint Mobile is super easy thanks to their digital eSIM cards. You never have to visit a store to activate your plan, and in seconds can get up to comfort from your home in terms of just setting everything up. You can also keep your current device. You can keep your phone number, easily switch the services, and if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIM card free of charge. Give it a try. I promise you guys are going to like it. mintmobile.com/chatsports. Let's go to the next guy here, and it's Joe Burrow. He underwent an appendectomy. I believe is how you pronounce it. Appendectomy. There you go. Earlier this week. And even though the Bengals, they don't seem too worried about the situation, the timeline for this can be 2 to 4 weeks. Burrow is entering his third year in the NFL, and by all accounts has looked spectacular. Cincinnati did lose in the Super Bowl last year, and there's always that stigma, the Super Bowl hangover. What happens the following season? And I'm not worried about Burrow's chemistry with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. He's an unbelievable quarterback. But what I do think you have to wonder here is, all right, let's just say it takes the 4 weeks. It's August tomorrow. If it goes 4 weeks and he doesn't really get onto the football field until about a week, maybe 2 weeks before his first game, is he going to be ready in time? I don't have the answer to that, but when you're trying to compete in the AFC, I think every snap, every rep does count. This is what Bengals head coach Zach Taylor had to say on Burrow returning. I don't have any timetable. We're just trying to give him some privacy, and I'm sure he'll be back in when he's ready. Well, no shit, Zach. I mean, I would hope that you put Burrow back on the field. You drafted him number 1 overall just 2 seasons ago, and you lost in the Super Bowl with him. But the fact that there's no timetable, I'm sorry, it does make me at least a little bit worried in terms of what type of shape Joe Burrow is going to be in. What happens if something like an infection happens? You just never know. So this is going to be a story that I know I pay very, very close attention to. And then when you look at the preseason, you got the Cardinals, the Giants, and the Rams. If I were to guess which game Burrow would have the highest chance of being ready for, it's the final preseason game. However, do quarterbacks and your starters actually play in that final preseason game? Usually the answer to that question is no. And if you are not 100% sure that Burrow is ready to rock and roll in terms of overall health, I'm not going to chance it with him. So do you guys think that we see Joe Burrow in the preseason this upcoming season? If you're like, yes, Mitch, we're going to see him, type that Y for yes. If you don't think it's going to happen, type N for no. The way that my stance on this is I'm going to type my N for no for the simple fact of you don't really need to rush it. And God forbid if you did try to rush Burrow back, I think the Bengals have a very talented team. But without Burrow, they are not making the playoffs. Coming up next here on NFL Daily, we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and could they potentially sign Takk McKinley. And one of the things Takk McKinley has always done is he's been a little bit of a headache. He's been a kind of a drama guy, but you know what? Sometimes that's what works great down in Dallas. McKinley actually also for a short stint signed with the Raiders. It never worked out. If there's any Raiders fans out there that want to join my locals community, you can always go to RaidersReport.locals.com, scan that QR code right there to get even more exclusive content from me, even more exclusive coverage around the Raiders, and fun fact, as soon as I get done filming this video, I'm going to hop over to locals, 5 p.m. Central Time for everyone who's watching in Dallas. But if you're on the East Coast, 6 p.m. If you're on the West Coast, 3 p.m. The link's below. Join the live show. It's like a live mailbag. Going to be breaking down some Raider stuff. I promise if you're a diehard fan, you're going to enjoy it. Now let's talk about the NFL edge defensive end, NFL free agent Takk McKinley. He came into a visit for the Cowboys yesterday, and the reason why this is intriguing is because Dan Quinn was working with him, and he was the old head coach over there in Atlanta. And it just seems like the Cowboys are bringing in all these old Dan Quinn Atlanta Falcons guys. Stephen Jones spoke about Takk and said, obviously, we had him here for a reason. In the NFL, if you can build extra talent and you can add extra pieces that you think can fit your defensive scheme, you're going to try to do it. And there's not many people out there, I think, that doubt McKinley having the overall ability to be a high-level player. It's always been the one, and it's always been the injury concerns on top of that. But this is what Stephen Jones had to say on signing Takk. We had him in for a pre-draft visit. I loved him coming out. Former Cowboys defensive coordinator Rod Marinelli was a huge fan, and we were too, of the way he plays the game, play temperament, play style, and then, of course, the obvious, Dan coached him. We've got a lot of inside knowledge there too. You can't have enough guys who can rush the passer. And I 100% agree with that. You can never have too many guys in today's NFL that can get after the QB. Has he had some injuries? Yes. Have the numbers gone down a little bit? Sure, they have. But if you just need somebody who can come in for 20, 25% of the snaps, really just try to get after the quarterback and let him be him, it's going to be a good fit there. At least that's what I think. So what do you think about this? The Cowboys, should they bring in Takk? Type S for sign. Type P for pass. If you think it's a good fit, let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you want to be an overachiever and put some money down there of how much it would cost, we're going to be looking. All right, I'm getting ready to wrap up today's show. Remember, with NFL training camp, with NFL preseason right around the corner, a lot of stuff ends up happening. So if you haven't already, you can always hit me up on Instagram. You can always hit me up on Twitter to make sure you stay up to date on everything going on around the NFL.